Account 1 is your transactional, and I call it the adult account. And account 2 is for the kid inside you, and that's your spending account. Today, we're going to be talking about setting up 2 bank account system. And this is going to make it easy for you to budget and make sure that you're keeping track of all of your finances. Hello and welcome to the Financial Bunny TV. My name is Nicolette Mashile. I'm also known as the Financial Bunny. So, I have been listening to a very interesting podcast. It is called The Finance Haven or The Money Haven. Can't really remember. I do know who the actual podcaster is. His name is Andy Hart, and he's absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to be giving you guys some of the summaries when and as I listen to each and every single one of his podcasts. And the one I was listening to when I was on my way to the airport the other day is he speaks about a 2-account system. So he tells a story about how he created, or rather he introduced his wife, who was his girlfriend then, to this system. He's actually divorced now, so it's a lot that has happened in a couple of years in his life, of course. But he introduced her to this system because at some point she got a big amount of money that came into her bank account, but she struggled to be able to track what she did with all of that money. Now, do remember, nothing that I say on this video constitutes as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, please do speak to somebody that is certified and registered with the FSCA. Guys, I've had the craziest 2 weeks of my life. So literally last week or 2 weeks ago, I had to get on a flight and go to Zambia because Alex Forbes was having their African Employee Benefit Summit, and I was hosting that. And then I came back on the Saturday. The Sunday I had to wake up, jump on another flight all the way to Cape Town because, of course, YouTube Black was having their creator festival or their creator week. So, and I was hosting the creator day. So it's been absolutely crazy. That's why my voice sounds a little raspy and a little bedroom voice, see? But that's not my real voice, I'm sure you guys know. So let's get into this two bank account system. Basically, what it is that you need to set up 2 bank accounts. Right? So you've got your first bank account, and it's called your transactional or your adulting bank account. And basically your salary comes into this bank account, and all of your debit orders are going through this bank account. You are using this account to pay for your rent. You are using this account to pay for your bond, your car, your life insurance, and all of whatever policies that you've got. It is the same bank account that you're also going to use to pay yourself first. It's very important that every single time an amount must be deducted from your bank account that goes to your savings or your investments, right? And that is what we call paying yourself first. And I will always say, make sure that this is what is called a stop order. So now remember, a debit order is when a third party goes into your bank account, puts their little hand in your bank account, and they take the money that you agreed upon that you would pay them every single month. But a stop order is in your control because you basically say 500 Rand every single month must go out of my account. So for instance, I have 3,000 Rand that goes into my account every single month. It goes into my Frank account, and I've got another 3,000 Rand that goes into my Easy Equities account. So that's me paying myself first, right? Then you must have all of your contractual debt. So this is your car loan, this is your house loan, this is maybe a credit card that you're paying or a personal loan that you're paying. All of those accounts, your debit orders, come from this specific account. And then, of course, we talk about insurance, So your life insurance, your car insurance, household insurance, structural insurance, whatever other insurance policies you may have, medical aid, they'll also come out of this account. But another additional thing that comes out of this account is the money you are going to spend every single day of that month, and you've got to put it into your spending account. Now, your spending account also includes your living expenses, so things like your grocery that you're going to be buying. It includes your consumables that you actually pay for that actually change and make the quality of your life a little bit better. Why he's doing this, or why he suggests doing this, is so that you are able to track and always know, I've got enough money on this account so that my debit orders do not bounce, but I've got this amount of money to be able to use to budget for all of my consumables. One, it keeps you on track, and you will start to realize how much money you're actually spending. Are you spending too much money on paying debts? Are you spending too much money on consumables? How do you make sure that you apportion all of those things so that it gives you the quality of life that you want? Another thing, which is a great piece of advice that I heard over this weekend, was from a gentleman by the name of Eric. He's a YouTuber, right? It's Eric of a core, if I'm pronouncing his surname correctly, but he's going to be on one of my YouTube shorts, so do look out for that. And he said, find something that you really like. Find something that you really like. that gives you the ultimate satisfaction. And make sure that you create a budget line in your budget for it. Whether you like ice cream dates, whether you like a pair of sneakers, make sure that you are creating that budget line. So yes, maybe you might not be able to buy sneakers every single month, but you could say, I'm going to buy 2 pairs of sneakers every single year. So that means you know that in your budget line, for every single month, you're putting away money. For halfway, 6 months, you buy yourself a pair of sneakers. End of the year, you buy a pair of sneakers. But you know there's money going into that specific goal. The reason you want to do this is so that you feel satisfied and fulfilled, and you don't end up spending money on things that don't fulfill you, but sometimes you're spending money because it's out of a temptation, or you are being pressured by the peers around you, pressured by people around you. So make sure. And in actual fact, as I was listening to him say that, I remembered that this is actually from Ramit Sethi's Money Dials. He speaks about, everyone's got a money dial. Everyone's got that one thing that they don't even think twice or 3 times, and it satisfies them holistically when they spend money on it. So it is important to find that thing. Another great piece of advice that I found this weekend, as I said, it was a bunch of African creators that were under one roof and being celebrated for being great creators, but also for being the black voice on the YouTube channel that really expand African stories. There was a young lady, Shay Move. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And she gave us one of the best advice. The question in the room was about, how do you know when to hire more people in your team? Whether you're a creator, whether you're running another business, how do you know it is time? And it's such, I always say I serve a living God, and it's just always divine intervention, the type of advice that I hear and I gravitate towards. So you're going to hear a lot of advice in your life, and people will say, yeah, but you're going to hear advice every day. Yeah, I hear advice every day, but the advice that I gravitate to is always a very divine intervention. So somebody asked her about, how do you know when to add someone in your team, or to, boost up the people that are assisting you? And I was thinking of that as I was driving back from the airport when I was coming back from Zambia. And I was so worried about the fact that I'm so tired. Who's going to pack my bag? Who's going to make sure I've got all of the things that I need? And I was like, actually, you know what? Maybe I need to hire a 3rd or 4th person in my team so that I pay them a small portion of a salary, right? However, that person is going to probably bring so much more productivity to our team, which ultimately will do well for the business in overall. It will also create efficiency in the business. It will also mean that we don't have clients that are waiting to get responses because everybody's doing their part in the team. And that was my thought process as I was driving from the airport. And when this young lady answered this question, she said, it is important to know when to bring somebody onto your team. You can't bring somebody on your team to try and compensate for where you are lacking. You bring somebody on your team because they're going to help you maximize the time that you already have and the time that you're using well. So I'm obviously paraphrasing. She said it in a very seamless sentence, but obviously I had to interpret it for myself. And when she spoke about it and she gave an example, she said she knows she's bad with time management. And bringing a second person, an editor, she was talking about bringing an editor or a producer on her team as a creator, and she was like, that is going to compensate for my bad habits, my bad time management. I need to fix that first, get really good, and then bring somebody on. Because if you bring somebody on when your bad habits are still there, it means that that person is actually going to step into the role that you are stepping in, and ultimately you guys are not going to produce double results. You're going to produce half and half, and it makes one whole. So it is important that I think it's a life skill in general, like in everything that you do. It is important to make sure that if you're going to be bringing on a resource, it's important to make sure that you're maximizing on that resource. It's the same thing I always say. If you're going to be bringing on a financial advisor or a financial planner into your life, it must be because you have taken yourself this far and you need somebody else to take you even further. But if you're at zero, you don't understand budgeting, you don't understand investing, you don't understand why it's important to pay yourself first, that person who's a financial advisor is going to spend too much time trying to convince you to do things that you don't already have sign into, and that is only going to make you guys, your efforts, less than what they actually should be. So I hope that this video has given you some sort of thinking. Even if you're just thinking, I'm very happy. I will see you guys on the next one. Mwah.